Would you kindly? Would you kindly get this? Would you kindly find that? Would you kindly find that? Would you kindly find? Would you kindly get this?
Do I have everybody's attention now?
What's going on, everybody? I've been playing PlanetSide 2 long enough to realize that it's time I've made my own review to tell people that this game is, in my opinion, the best multiplayer game of 2012. PlanetSide 2 is a sequel to SOE's 2003 game, PlanetSide 1, and describing this game is pretty much simple. It is massive combat on an epic scale. 3 teams across 3 continents with 2,000 players per continent. You heard me right, people. 2,000 players per continent. Now, how you play the game is pretty simple. It's territory control in an open world, large battles featuring up to 2,000 players per continent on land, foot, or vehicle. Now, before you begin, you have to create a character. You have the TR, the Terran Republic, the team I picked. They have a faster fire rate than the other 2, and they have a faster reload time than their weapons. Next up, you have the NC, the New Conglomerate. Their weapons are more powerful, deal more damage, but they have a slower rate of fire, they are less accurate, and their weapons have more recoil. Reload speed is also longer. Lastly, you have the Vanu Sovereignty. They use alien-type weaponry, which is more accurate, it has single-shot fire, and their weapons have no bullet drop. So let's log into the game real quick, and we'll talk about the classes and the weapons and everything like that. Now, as you can see, I've logged into the game. Here are your 3 continents right here. Endar is 1, Esamir is 2, and Amrish is 3. And each of these little grids right here is a little territory that you have to take. You have plants, you have outposts, you have substations, you have everything on the world that you can take care of. And when you take over one, like here, the last Vanu, they have taken over this thing last, and they get 10% off of infantry purchases. Over here in Esamir, the NC took it over, so they get 10% off of mechanized purchases. And over here, the NC has taken over Amber, so they get 10% off of arrow purchases. So my team really isn't doing good right now. So, as far as your classes go right here, let me get out of everybody else's way so I can get over this real quick. You have to start off with the Light Assault class. Light Assault, they can use jetpacks, they can employ a variety of different kinds of grenades, they can use explosives, and are armed with a carbine by default. Now if we go over into the Certs tree, so what were we on? We were on, let's see, Light Assault, that's right. They have different things like the medical kit, they have their drifter jump jets, regular jump jets, they have adrenaline pump, which gives them a faster sprint speed, they have shield capacitors, they have ammunition belts, they have flak armor, they have grenade bandoliers, they have extra armor. Every class has their own little thing. Next up we have, let's see, the Heavy Assault class. The Heavy Assault class is pretty much, as you call it, the Heavy Assault class. They're heavy anti-infantry units which have anti-vehicle weapons, and they can equip their faction's heaviest weapons. They have machine guns and anti-vehicle weapons. As you can see, they're loaded out with rocket launchers and RPGs and things like that. Next up is my favorite class, which is the Combat Medic. The Combat Medic is very versatile, and I'll go into very much bigger detail in this class because I play this class right here. You have weapons that are cyclers, which are good medium to long range weapons, not extra long, but for example, I've equipped mine with a 3.4 red dot. I've got a compensator barrel, which, you know, reduces vertical recoil. I have a hand grip which reduces horizontal recoil. Got a grenade launcher attachment, you know, in case you want to go in, go hard. And ammo, I have the high velocity, which travels at a much longer range, much more effective, but increases vertical recoil. But with the compensator, I get rid of that. As far as the cert tree goes, I roll with obviously the medical applicator, which is maximum range, so I get the maximum ability of that. I roll out with maximum nano regen device, so I can heal people and use my applicator to its fullest extent. I'm rolling with 4 on the nano weave armor, so equipping this gives me plus 20% to my overall health. Increasing it by the extra 5% costs 1,000, so probably not going to do that. For my grenade, I use the nano revive grenade. If you throw this grenade over at people, it'll revive them actually. So it makes an explosion, and everybody caught in the explosion is revived. So I don't have to go up and get into the nitty and gritty if it's heavy fire and risk my life. I can just throw this grenade out there. As far as combat medic utility slot, I use C4, and I would like to get more C4. C4 is good for taking out terminals, explosives, sunderers, and things of that nature. And the weapon I use is obviously the T1 cycler. No, wait, I use the T1S cycler because it has all kinds of options for barrels, scopes, hand grips, rails, and attachments that the regular T1 cycler does not have. So the next class we'll be talking about is the engineer. Engineers are a class responsible for vehicle repairs as well as fortifications. They can deploy ammo and a gun turret and are armed with carbines. So this class right here, they can repair things, gun turrets, they can repair vehicles, they can drop down ammo packs. They're basically a utility support class and are very effective. They can even employ gun turrets, not ones that you drop down and you shoot automatically. They put them down and they can use themselves, so they can get on them, and they're pretty damn good, if I must say. Next up, we have the infiltrator. They're basically your sabotage guy, your sniper guy. They can cloak, they can hack enemy consoles, they can spot enemies, and they're armed with the sniper rifle. If you see people's computers that, you know, spawn vehicles, that spawn ammo, that change things and components, these are the guys you want to use that can hack them and change the enemy's assets over to your assets. And lastly, we have the Max, who is a mechanized beast. This guy is a walking tank. And as you can see, he's loaded up with 2 chain guns. You can load him up with rocket pods, anti-aircraft missiles and guns, flamethrowers. This dude is a straight up beast, capable of sustaining and dealing heavy amounts of damage. He can be revived by a medic, but he cannot be healed by a medic. He has to be healed by an engineer. Now we're going to go over into the certs, into the cert tree. Clearly, when you're playing this game, getting premium would be better because, you know, you get access to, you know, 20 to 50% more passive certs. You get better resource game. First month you get 25% more passive certs a day, or not a day overall. 30 for the next month, and so on and so on. 1 month is 15, 3 months is 12 a month, 6 months is 12 a month, 12 months is 10 a month, blah blah blah, whatever. You're not entitled to buy these things as the game is free to play, but getting them can make your experience better and make things and unlocking things more easy. You can buy weapons if you want. You can unlock them regularly. You can get gear if you want. You cannot unlock regularly. Vehicles you want, you can unlock regularly. Vehicle gear, you have to pay. You cannot unlock regularly. And what I normally do is, you know, get a boost. You pay $5, you get the 7-day boost. It boosts your experience up by double, so you can access things more quicker and more easily. Now, as far as certs go, you spend your certs to, you know, unlock different items, abilities, and things of that nature. As I was going over before, the cert tree, you have abilities like triage, your combat medical applicator, like I was talking about earlier, your nano regen device, like I was talking about earlier. You have different things that you can get, like an advanced shield capacitor, which, you know, makes your shield damaged or depleted, it regens them quicker. You have the flakjack, which reduces the amount of damage taken from explosives. You can make your guy basically however you want to make him, and unlock weapons and things however you want to do. As far as vehicles go, you have your Flash, which is your typical mongoose-like vehicle from Halo. Unfortunately, it does not seat 2 people. I wish it really did. You have your Sunderer, which is a very good vehicle and a very integral vehicle, because this is the vehicle you use to travel. It is like your Amtrak, your bus, you know. You drive it across the terrain, you move it from one location to another, and people are able to spawn out of these vehicles. This vehicle can resupply infantry, resupply other vehicles, it can spot, it has anti-aircraft weapons that you can upgrade to, shielding, and overall you need this vehicle because this is the vehicle that holds your team, your squad, your platoon, everybody together by resupplying, by letting you change your loadouts and everything like that, by letting you change weapons, by healing other vehicles. It does a lot. Next up, you have your light tank, which is called your Lightning for the TR. It's very fast, very quick, has very significant upgrades and things like that to the weaponry and things. You have your heavy tank, which is called the Prowler, which is not as fast as the Lightning. It is more durable, shoots less firepower at a less fire rate, but the firepower overall is more heavy. You have your Mosquito, which is your overall your fighter craft, and it does have some nice and unique upgrades. For example, you go to the performance side, you can get the dogfighting airframe, which basically gives you more performance and maneuverability in dogfighting. It improves the turn power and improves the overall agility of the Mosquito. You can get the hover stability airframe, improves Mosquito's ability to engage ground targets by letting you hover and stay stationary and shoot. Or you get the high-speed racer frame, which lets you go from point A to point B at a very high speed, letting you get to the battle and get out of battle really quick. So however you want to do it, you can do it. Next up, you have the Liberator, which is pretty much the bomber of the group. You know, the high flight, high impact player, which can hold up to 3 people because it's got a front gun, a bottom gun, and a tail gun. Now this thing can really deal a lot of firepower because, you know, you can increase the magazine size, increase the reloading speed on it. What else do we have? You can increase the other weapons and things like that. I'm pretty sure this thing had bombing capabilities. Let me see. Utility slot, ejection, afterburner, fire suppression system. Oh, acquisition timer, utility timer. It's got stealth, auto repair. I thought it did. I guess you have to unlock these additional weapons. That's probably what it is. Last but not least is the Galaxy. The Galaxy is your dropship. It can hold up to 12 units in it outside of the pilot, basically holding an entire Halo or an entire Call of Duty game in the confines of its hull. And it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guns on it, I believe. It's either 3 or 5. I'm not quite sure, but it is a very good, very unique machine, and you definitely need it as you can deploy units across the map at very high speeds and deploy them behind enemy lines and things like that, which is very good, very efficient from airdrops. Normally, when you drop out of high impact, you will die, but a Galaxy or any other dropship is able to shoot you from high altitude without you dealing or receiving any kind of damage. Now, the graphics overall in this game, they're good. They're not amazing, but they're not poor at all. For a game that's pushing 2,000 players at one time, it's very good. The game is not very well optimized, but I have received, you know, configuration files from other people and other forums which have greatly increased my performance greatly, because the game is a CPU hog, and my 2500K even overclocked to 4.5 gigahertz really gets put under the gun and really doesn't get used a lot because the game is, you know, programmed for CPUs, but fortunately it's not really optimized for CPUs. DDR2 will have no chance at this game. You probably want to have DDR3. and the draw distances are very nice. Now we're going to take a little drop pod down into some action real quick. The guns and the sound effects are pretty good. I mean, they don't sound like toys. There's no real soundtrack or anything like that going on. The vehicles, they all sound nice, and overall nothing is awful, but at the same time nothing really stands out. Now, as you can see, I'm taking a drop pod, so you don't have to traverse the entire terrain like that. You can drop pod from outer space, or they shoot you down from orbit, whatever. You can get to wherever you want to go quite easily. And you can get exposed quite easily too if you drop pod right in the middle of an enemy base. But as far as the gameplay goes, the gameplay is not casual friendly. I repeat, it is not casual friendly, as you have a lot to know. As you can see on the right hand side, all the deployment locations. You have a lot of classes, a lot of vehicles, a lot of teamwork, platoons, squads. You have tons of things that you need to master and to get hold and get under your belt and things like that. As you can see, we can go into the squads right here. You have different friends that you can go. You have different outfits you can join up into. You have different squads you can go into. I'll join a squad real quick, and in your squad you have different platoons and everything of that nature. And as you can see, each squad, let me go back real quick. Each squad has each squad is in a platoon with 3 other squads, 4 squads total. Alpha is green, Bravo is orange, Charlie is purple, Delta, I believe, is yellow. So you can go to your map and you can find each squad, green, purple, Alpha, Charlie, Delta, right in there. And you can see at the bottom left of your screen, right over here, to the right of your map, you can see I am in Delta Squad, and I am Delta Squad number 4. So if I go in here, and I click to the man and zoom in right here, you can see Delta Squad 4 would be right there on anybody else's map, but on my map I'm just the arrow. Now let's say I wanted to find Alpha Squad 11, who is Tailzord. He is right there on 11. I could look at my map right here and see that Alpha Squad 11 is attacking the Altium Biolab with 3 other squads in the platoon right there. So the game feels like real war, as you can see by all the different types of classes and vehicles and airplanes and vehicles and things like that. It has a very big diversity of play styles, and everybody has their own role, and no one class is overpowered and no one class is useless and things of that nature. The battles are big and varied that make even Battlefield 3's battles seem small, meager, and meaningless by scale. Teamwork and cooperation will always beat out anybody's individual skill, and it makes every battle seem pretty much meaningful and things like that. It overall is a very fantastic game, and by the way, people, it is free to play, so I recommend anybody who is in first-person shooters, who likes team-based games, to try it out. I mean, if you don't like it, you don't like it. It's a team-based game, and it's a free-to-play game, so download it, try it. If you don't like it, hey, you didn't waste any money. If you do like it, have fun with it, and really, people, that's all I had to say about my review. Enjoy your day.
I knew I should have stayed in bed this morning.
Thinking the same thing.
Call the shot.
It'd be a pleasure.
Your forces are under attack.
You called down the thunder. Now reap the whirlwind. We gotta move. You know who the best starfighter in the fleet is? I am invincible. That's right.